everyone, so I'm here today to film a wear and tear review for this bag. This is the Staud Shirley Bag. This is a very popular design from them, and it is a standard design that they make all the time. I have it in the clear with the croc embossed leather. So what I'm going to do is run through pretty much some of the basics about the bag, as well as my pros and cons and whether or not I would recommend this bag for purchase. So let's just get started. First things first, I purchased this bag from the Staud website in November 2018, so I've owned it for approximately 2 years and I have carried it pretty extensively. So some basic rundowns. This is the standard size. It also comes as a mini size. Since I purchased this bag, they have done a few different re-editions of it. You can now buy it as a full leather bag, which I don't think comes with an insert, and you can buy it with a shoulder strap. Mine obviously does not come with a shoulder strap, it just has 2 top handles. I paid $210 US for this bag in 2018. It is still priced at $210 US. It's made of clear PVC plastic on the outside, and then all of the black croc embossed is supposedly calf leather. When you purchase this bag, it does also come with a dust jacket. It's just a standard canvas with a ribbon drawstring closure and then the Staud logo in the middle. I'm not sure if they've changed the bags since my purchase. I haven't purchased anything from Staud since 2018, so if the drawstring or dust bag has changed at all, please let me know, but that's what it was when I purchased it. Some of the pros of this bag, and one of the main reasons I actually purchased this bag, is that it comes in 2 separate parts. So you can take the external pocket out of the PVC outer pocket and carry each of them either together or individually. So I really loved how kind of customizable this bag was and how there were lots of different options for how you could carry it. I also loved that it was quite a unique design. So at the time, clear bags were still pretty popular, but I hadn't found one that was like actually really large and practical, or that kind of fit the aesthetic that I wanted. I didn't want it to look childish, basically. I also found this bag really easy to style because it is black and clear. It goes with pretty much anything, and I also really liked that it was textured. So the 2 different textures of the croc and the PVC add a little bit of dimension to it, and I think can add a real interest to your outfits. That being said, this is one of my most complimented handbags. I think because it is such an unusual, striking design, people really notice it when I carry it, and I get a lot of comments, usually positive ones, from people when I do carry it. So those are all of my pros. Some other ones you might want to know about. I really love the size of it. I think it is a really nice everyday kind of tote size. I love the size of the pocket inside as well, the pouch. It kind of looks, when you take it out, it looks a bit like a toiletries or makeup bag when you carry it as a clutch, but it's large enough to carry everything and still be a clutch, which I really appreciate, probably because the base is so wide. But unfortunately, that's kind of where my list of pros ends for this bag, and now move on to the cons. So while I mentioned that I do love the size of this bag for an everyday tote, it is actually quite large and it carries a lot, which means that it gets heavy really easily. That's true of all totes, so don't think that I'm just picking on this bag specifically, but the outside PVC is already a pretty heavy material, and then when you load it down with stuff, it gets pretty heavy pretty quickly. Additionally, because the only handles on this bag are the top handles, this is really uncomfortable to carry when it is full. I can't actually fit my full arm through it. It sits kind of mid-arm or just above the wrist, and when it's heavy, that is incredibly painful. As you can see also, I get a little stuck in it. So it can be an incredibly uncomfortable, heavy bag to carry because there's only a top handle, there's no shoulder strap, there's no crossbody. It kind of only gives you one option for carrying like that. Additionally, the PVC can be a little bit cumbersome, especially on the edges. Before I purchased this bag, I'd only seen one review in which she mentioned that the edges are a little bit sharp and you can cut yourself on the PVC. Now on mine, it's not that sharp. They've definitely been blunted, but they haven't been rounded. It is still technically a raw PVC edge. So especially in this section here, when you run your fingers in and out, if you're going to put it onto your hand, you will scratch yourself up and make your hand pretty red by doing that. Same as if you're reaching in, you do kind of clip yourself on the PVC top. So if that's kind of be an issue for you, if you like accessing your bags really quickly, then yeah, that might prove cumbersome. And as much as I love the trend of the PVC clear bags, the major downside of having a clear bag is that you can see through it. So that means that all of the little dust and debris and nibbly bits that kind of collect at the bottom of your bag collect at the bottom of this bag as well, except for you can see them in this bag. So what I mean by that is, if you can see, there is some edging along the sides, and that's where two pieces of PVC are overlapping and sewn together. So underneath this seam, it's disgusting. I'll see if I can like zoom in and show you. I'll see if I can get some nice shots, but it's just full of dust. It's full of little gritty bits and little particles that I can't get out. Additionally, on the bottom of the bag, I might get little like fluffy bits or something, and they get stuck on the inside and it just looks messy. The same can be said for the seaming down the front and back of each side. Dust gets caught in the little crevices and you can see it. Same again with the part here between the handle and the PVC. Lots of little dust and debris gets caught in there as well, and it's all on display. So even if you are really careful with this bag, just by the mere fact of you using it, it's going to collect dust, and it's very difficult to clean, and it's pretty on display. So earlier I mentioned that the embossed leather on this bag is labeled as calfskin, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it is. Or if it is calfskin, it's not great quality. The reason I say that is because the way it's worn. On these handles, I don't know what it is attached to, but as you can see, they are very thin handles. And the leather has peeled really significantly. I don't know if you can see that how it goes shiny and then it's really matte. That's where the leather has kind of peeled off and worn really unattractively, and I find that really unfortunate because this is how you carry the bag, so there's really no other way to avoid that kind of wear. At the same time, on the corners of the internal pouch, the wear is pretty significant. I think it's also because when you pull the bag out, the base of the bag is pretty large in comparison to the opening of the PVC. So when you pull it out and put it in, it definitely rubs up and down the internal. So the wear on the corners is pretty significant, if anyone can see that. It just looks really, you know, it's not neat. It's really worn, and I don't love that. I think it looks a little yuck. Then there's the wear with the PVC itself. So as you can see, mine has warped really significantly. And the reason it's done this is because when I store it like this with the handle sticking up. And while they would normally stand straight up like this, obviously gravity has pulled this one down and it's just kind of deformed that way. I also definitely found that when I took it out on a hot day, if I left it sitting under my chair at a cafe or something like that, it would soften and collapse a little bit. So that's how it's deformed, and I don't really know how you would be able to prevent that deformation. I think probably stuffing it is the ideal, but it is an open tote, so the idea of having to find enough stuff to fill it to keep its shape kind of seems a little bit absurd to me. Another thing, because it is a large tote shape, a lot of people love using a bag organizer for a bag like this, especially if you're going to take the pouch out, and you just wouldn't really be able to because it is clear, unless you like the look of that. If you wanted to get a colorful one or something really simple to put on the inside and kind of jazz it up a little bit, you could do that. But if you were used to using kind of a really pragmatic bag organizer, then you're not really going to be able to use it in a clear bag. And the last thing I wanted to mention about the wear on the PVC is that it scuffs, and it scuffs really badly. I will again try and show you how there's like white scuffing on the corner of this bag, and I have taken cloth to it, I've taken erasers to it, I've taken my just fingers to it trying to scrape it off, and it just doesn't come off. So I've got scraping along the back of it as well and along the front of it, and it's just standard scuffing of any kind of plastic will get over time, over using it while it rubs up against other surfaces, and it just kind of takes away from the coolness of it being a clear bag because the scuffs make it not transparent. So to summarize, basically my cons for the Staud Shirley bag are the size and shape and the fact that it only has a top handle, make it really heavy and uncomfortable to carry. The clearness of the bag means that it's really prone to discoloration from dust and debris and scuffing. It's also really prone to deform, and I don't really know how you'd be able to stuff it to make that not happen. And then the leather on it wears really badly. So we come to the end of the video where I have to say whether or not I would recommend this purchase to you. If I was going back in time to 2018 me, I would say to wait and buy a much nicer leather black bag as opposed to buying this PVC trendy bag. $210 US isn't an enormous price to pay for a bag, but it is a significant chunk, and I would kind of recommend that you save that money and put it towards a much nicer bag, one that's meeting your needs a lot more and that is easier and more pleasant to carry. But if you have your heart set on a Shirley bag, then I do really like the shape of the mini. I think that's a lot more practical as a top handle bag. You're not going to weigh it down with a lot of stuff on the day-to-day, so it's going to be easier to carry. Also, I'm interested to know if anyone's got one of the Shirleys with the crossbody. I think that makes so much sense, and this bag would be greatly improved. The using of this bag would be greatly improved with a crossbody. So here I am 2 years after purchasing my Staud Shirley bag, and I can say a little bit of me regrets the purchase. I am kind of glad that I got the experience and learned a little bit more about the kind of quality and make of a Staud bag, and it is nice to be able to make this video and let everybody else know what my experience has been, because I don't see a lot of wear and tear reviews of this bag on YouTube. I see a lot of unboxings, but then I don't see how it gets used. So if you love the look of this bag and you aren't worried about the wear and tear or about the usage, the difficulty of use, then I would recommend this bag. It's not a huge purchase and it can be really fun, especially if you just wanted to use the PVC as a beach bag. I think that could be really cute. But if you're kind of looking for a bag to add to a collection, I definitely think you can skip this one. So there you go, those are my thoughts on the Staud Shirley bag. Please let me know if you have any questions about this bag in the comments down below, and I'd love to answer them. This is my first time ever filming a wear and tear review, so please let me know what you thought of it and if there's anything I could add to any future ones. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.